Hey, so I figured, as I'm totally in bed and comfy as shit, and just about to start this book, which is already looking amazing. I randomly found it at Shoppers, and already with the tiny, tiny bit that I've read, even just in the sort of like forward and stuff, I'm already like, I know 4 people I should be getting this for Christmas. It occurred to me that I should be getting back into the book reviews, which is why I was going to start a series that I like to call Sleepy Books. That's not what I'm going to call it. There would probably be a better name than that. Anyway, I'm finally going to review a book that I finally finished. So, let me tell you a little bit about Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged is a very large book. Very, very large. It was copywritten, blah blah. No, yeah, it was published in 1957. It was written by Ayn Rand, and she was a big proponent of capitalism and self-interest as a virtue, which it's really interesting because it's a book that's basically an expression of the extremes. You've got the extreme of altruism, but it's not really altruism because it's about taking care of your fellow man because that's the right thing to do and not because it's more like a forced thing, like it's an expectation. Whereas you have the industrialists who are, of course, big into the capitalism. And they're the only ones that are acting not because it's what you should do, but because it's their motivations are very internal, whereas the you know the looters, as they call them, it seems to be peer pressure. They're like, this is how we're supposed to be. It's not proper, or anyway, it's crazy, and it's about the fall of America and this parallel world where they pass laws like the anti-dog eat dog and stuff like that, and yeah, you get a lot of people's states, um, you know, so it's weird because the main characters in the book are all, of course, very affluent. So even when these laws get brought in to, like, bring everybody to the same level, and they have, rulings come in like everyone should be paid by their need. Well, who determines my need but me? So you have people who are like, anyway, it's crazy. And I have defended for years that the reason why I struggled to get through this novel is because I approach it like a novel. And this is sort of like her opus of her ideology. And I never realized that, in fact, the problem is that it's defending two points of view that are completely alien to me. I mean, I try to be as generous as I can. I try to be as kind as I can to other people around me. But I was also raised with a strong work ethic. So, yes, absolutely, I will help anybody I can. But I don't owe them anything, you know. And I also don't believe in helping somebody unless, they're also trying to help themselves. People who are willfully in bad situations that is, you know, it's not, I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, my general feeling about this book is surprisingly that it's, except, I mean, obviously the lack of technology involved, it hasn't aged that badly. I feel like the arguments that she's making in the book are still, would be very relevant for, you know, people to explore. If I had to sort of give it, like, just a general opinion based on the style of writing, I wasn't a huge fan. It was a bit, I don't know, long-winded. I feel like I feel like she could have made her point in about half the time. But also I'm aware that for the time when she did write it, it was very appropriate for the style that was acceptable. So yeah, it was interesting. Would I recommend reading the book versus watching the movie? The movie isn't great, but in the end, I have been trying to read the book for years. The amount of time I devoted to reading to exactly the halfway point in the book multiple times, and then finally just buying it on Audible and reading the damn thing that way. In that sense, I would say watch the movies. It's really annoying because they came out a couple years ago, and the actors in the first one were really awesome, but then they switched a couple of them. So yeah, the only character in this entire book I kind of liked actually was, I would have to say, Eddie Willers and Hank Rearden's secretary. Honestly, by the end of it, I was like, I don't like any of these people. I really don't. I think maybe, you know, one of the Kellogg. I think I liked Kellogg. If you read the book, you know, that will all make more sense, but really, the main characters, no. I don't like anybody. No. They're all just deplorable. The altruists, the looters, they're all just really whiny, whereas the industrious were all just really unapologetically, you know, arrogant. And there wasn't a middle ground, really, you know. I think that was the one thing. It was so extreme. And it's like, Jesus, I don't know why you don't think that there's, you know, there should be this whole, like, it can't just be one or the other. Anyway, so it was an interesting book. I'm glad I finally read it. I would definitely recommend the movie over the book, unless you're very interested in the subject matter. I mean, take a swing at it. It's been out forever, so it's definitely available in libraries if you don't invest. So yeah, I would give it a 3. It is classic literature. I feel like I can't be too disrespectful. So a 3 out of 5. So yes. Anyway, I'm going to read my book. That is the back of my book. So expect me to talk about this at some point in time. This is A Furiously Happy, a funny book about horrible things by Jenny Lawson. This was apparently... Oh! She is the New York Times #1 best-selling author of Let's Pretend This Never Happened, which also sounds like it would be amazing, and I think I'm gonna have to hunt that down. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Okay, bye.